Hello and welcome to my thought on this Wednesday. What I've been noticing is they're easing the lockdown a little, and because they're easing the lockdown, everybody wants picnics. So I'm going to tell you about a 4th of July picnic in America when I was 12 years old. And because it has many, many names in it that I will never remember because I'm 86 years old and can't remember my own, I'm going to read it to you. But you're going to have to keep track of all the animals. It's called the picnic that went to the dogs. And all these animals are real. We all have them. And this was the picnic that we gave on the 4th of July when I was 12 in Toledo, Ohio. I was living in a gated community. It was called Brookhead Place, and we lived at 40, and my cousin Jessica lived at 44. So we had a big park in the middle of the gated community, and that's where we held the picnic. So when I was 12, my cousin and I held a gala picnic for our family pets in honor of Independence Day because we wanted to celebrate it. At that time, our dog in my family was a wire-haired terrier named Junior who attacked all men. He hated men. It took my father almost 6 months to get back into the bedroom after they bought the dog because he loved my mother, who shared his personality, but hated my father. He hated my dog, our dog Junior, hated moving feet of any sex, and he had a negative personality. So did my mother. My mother insisted that the dog was a finicky eater, and she broiled him ground round patties and beef heart, which made the animal remarkably bilious. And when I got my divorce and came home after the first divorce, my mother sent me to get Junior his meat. And she said, I want ground round steak. And I said, well, I always used to just make just plain ground meat for Tommy. And my mother said, that's why he divorced you. So this dog was used to gourmet food. Gourmet food. My cousin Jessica, remember she lived 4 doors away, owned a canary named Tweety and a hamster she called Lizzie, two Siamese fighting fish named Bill and Coo, and a pedigreed boxer christened Dell of the Everglades. This dog was absolutely huge, and he was a unique combination of exuberance and muscle, so full of joie de vivre that anyone who dared to walk him experienced the unique sensation of flying without a plane. My Uncle Harry used to walk him around the block, and his feet never touched the ground. That was Dell. So now you've got the animals. There was Dell, there was Junior, our wire-haired terrier, a canary named Tweety, and the hamster named Lizzie, two Siamese fighting fish named Bill and Coo, and of course Dell. My Aunt Hazel, who lived just around the corner, had a tiny Cocker Spaniel. He was absolutely adorable, and they called him Sparky, and he loved to roll over and play dead. He did this at inappropriate times, such as in front of my aunt's car when she pulled into the driveway or just after a heavy meal. This was the summer of 44, a long time ago, when everything that tasted good in America was rationed and nobody had enough gasoline to drive to the park. And of course, we had a park in our neighborhood. What are we going to do for the 4th of July? Asked Jessica. Our mothers are cooking for the USO because all the mothers did volunteer work for the USO to give food to the soldiers. We did that. We often had soldiers at our house. Our mother said that if we wanted to have a picnic, we're going to have to do it ourselves. Why don't we give our pets a party? I said. I think they should. I think they should know how much we love them, and we did. We just adored our pets. Jessica's face brightened. That's a great idea, Lenny, she said. Dell just loves celebrations, and the canary has been molting all week. You need to know that when the canary molted, they used to feed him Jack Daniels, so the canary was always drunk. So the poor canary, she said, Tweety has been very, very depressed, and I don't think he could stand to eat dog food, though. That it has a terrible odor. But we never give Junior dog food, I said. My mother broils him expensive hamburgers, and all we need to do is add a few onions to make them taste good. Sparky can't eat meat, said Jessica, because he has a delicate digestive system, and he can only have rice. I said, okay, we'll mix the ground meat with rice, and he'll probably love it that way. Why don't we frost the dog biscuits red, white, and blue for the American flag and give it to them for dessert, said Jessica. Dell has such a sweet tooth that he jumps on the dining room table when my mother serves chocolate cake. Dell weighed about 125 pounds. When he jumped on the table collapsed, but he did it regularly, and my aunt had to have it repaired. I'll ask Mother to save sugar coupons because remember everything was was rationed. And I'll buy some food coloring, I said. Should we have ice cream too? It would be good for Junior. He has shallow bones. Junior had osteoporosis, and I kept hoping that he would break all his bones because he was such a jerky little dog, but he never did. He never did. Can I bring the hamster, Lizzie, and the bird and the goldfish? Asked Jessica. Why not? I said. Mary Kaplan, that was our next door neighbor, has a cute little kitty named Elizabeth, and we can invite her. And Aunt Hazel said she couldn't leave her parrot at home when she was working at the USO because the parrot's on antidepressants, so he's at our house. I can bring him. On the morning of the big event, Jessica arrived with a basket of frosted dog biscuits and peanut butter pralines for the hamster and a bowl of minnows for the goldfish. What about Tweety, that's the goldfish, and Aunt Hazel's parrot Cyril? I asked. We don't have any bird seed. Well, Tweety is molding again, and he's on a liquid diet, and that liquid diet was Jack Daniels. I brought his bottle of Seagram's. It was Seagram's, but it was Jack Daniels, and we can share it with everyone. Okay, I said. Let's pour a little in the dog bowls as an appetizer. So we poured the Seagram's into the dog bowls, and the dogs lapped up the whiskey like it was honey, and pretty soon all of them were whirling around the yard as if someone had wound them up with a key. The birds were screaming from their cages, and Lizzie, the hamster, was squeaking like an ungreased wheel. The cat had lunged to the top of the garage, that's Elizabeth, and sounded like an open fire hydrant. I think it's time to eat, I said to Jessica. Jessica and I set out big platters of hamburgers and onions, frosted dog biscuits, and peanut butter candy on the picnic table. I'll bring out the plates, I said, but Jessica shook her head. Too late, she said. I looked at the ravaged table. It was turned on its side, and Dell was gazing at it while he chewed the last of the forks. How did Lizzie get in that tree? I asked. Jessica frowned. I think she jumped. I think Dell thought she was dessert. Where's Tweety? I asked. He's huddled in a corner of his cage. I've never seen him shake like that, said Jessica, but I'm really hungry. Where did you put our hamburgers? On the platter, I said. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. Oh, she said. I think I saw a bag of kennel ration in the pantry. I said, my mother keeps it for emergencies. I wonder how it tastes with mustard, said Jessica. Well, I opened 4 cans of kennel ration, which was dog food in the United States, and put the contents under the broiler. It didn't smell bad exactly, but it didn't smell good either. I put the dog food into the hamburger buns and arranged them on the platter, and just then my mother and my aunt pulled into the driveway. I'm ravenous, said my mother. Those boys ate. I was at the USO. Those boys ate like it was their last meal. It might very well be, said my aunt. Oh, look, Linny made hamburgers. She beamed at me. Jessica and I watched horrified while our hungry mothers gobbled up the dog food sandwiches and the dogs lapped up the ice cream I had brought out for dessert. Should we tell them? Said Jessica. Let's sneak over to Mrs. Zarnecki's, I said. There must be 100 drunk relatives in their backyard. They'll never notice us. As we tiptoed out the back door, I heard my mother exclaim, These are really delicious. What did Linny do to them? I think she used garlic, said my aunt. Would you like another? And that's the story of the picnic we did on the 4th of July. And all of you who are now escaping the lockdown and having picnics, if you run out of mince, try doing dog food. But don't forget to add some onions and garlic. And thank you for joining me for my thought today on Wednesday.